Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. I'll be drawing a scene for you today, as always, using a variety of pencils, a smudging tool and an eraser. And without further ado, let's go right into it. Hello everybody. Okay. I'll start with the HB pencil, drawing myself a nice little frame. For the scene. Okay. Let's have the horizon line just above midway. And let's start with the sky. Just some horizontal lines. Starting at the top of the page, working my way down towards the horizon, making it darker at the top, and then lighter as I get towards the horizon. Let's go darker up here. And I should make the lines from the one side to the other, crossing my frame so I don't have marks at the end of the line where I stopped and turned around. That's going to make the sky inconsistent. So go all the way from the left to the right, so you have consistent lines. Just like that. Okay, now taking the smudging tool, I do the same. I go from left to right, right to left, from the top of the page down towards the horizon line, making sure I cross the frame on either side, because you also get edges with the smudging tool where you stopped and turned around. Okay, that was a quick one. Let's maybe this right here, a little inconsistent there. Okay. Now let's have some clouds up there. Making circular motions with the eraser. Just a small little cloud over there. And maybe one more down here. Going all the way to the edge. All right. Now for the shadows in the clouds. Let's say the light comes from the top left today. So we're going to have shadows at the bottom right of the clouds. So I'm making very flat U shapes at the bottom of the clouds. Following the shape I created with the eraser. And then C shapes that are open to the left, so the right part of the cloud gets some nice little shadows. I want more of those on the right side of the cloud and not too many on the left, so that it looks like this entire area of the cloud is turned away from the sun and this left part is turned towards the sun. And the same thing for this long cloud over here. The bottom part just some U shapes with the HB pencil. Leaving some lighter areas in between. Okay, and since this part has a little inclination towards the middle, the side we see is turned away from the sun. So this cloud is going to be almost all shadow side, except for this little area where I'm at right now. That's going to be a little lighter since it pops up and the sun touches it. Shadows over here and over there. Over here as well. Okay, and just like that, we got ourselves some clouds. Now, I want a mountain in the distance. So just draw the outlines. From down here, from below the horizon, going up into the sky, going down right here. Some zigzag shapes up there. And then going down right here. Okay. Now I have to give it some three-dimensionality, so from each peak I have to draw another line going down. Let's say this peak right here is in front of everything else. This one's behind it. So, yep. Just like this. And some lines from those peaks as well. And then they're going to be covered with snow. Should have done this maybe before I made the other lines, but maybe I can do this in the future. Maybe I can just erase the shape of the mountain instead of indicating it with lines. So that's what I'm doing. Just erasing those lines and pretending I have a pencil and draw the upper part of the mountain with the eraser. Okay. Now I want some parts in the shadow. So the right parts of those mountains are going to be in the shadow. So they have to be darker. I'm going in with the HB pencil still, giving this mountain a value. Darker than the sky, going all the way down here. And for the ones up here as well, the right parts are going to be in the shadow. So they're almost like some sort of triangle that's up there in the sky. Down to where the other mountain is. Just like so. Down here. And over there. Maybe like this. Okay, and for this one in the front. Just like that. Just block it in. And then I'll go in with the 3B pencil and create some even darker areas to give it a structure. The steeper areas are going to be darker. Like here, for example, or like here. Then at the foot of the mountain, maybe some cracks right up there. Maybe some more down here. Up there as well. And in here. Right there. And maybe a couple in here. Just a little bit. And for this one as well. Right here. A little crack up there. Something over here. and a couple of lines, just a couple of cracks. And down at the bottom, something maybe like this, maybe like this, maybe like this. Okay, now I'll do the same thing with the HB pencil for the brighter areas, the areas that are touched by the sun. They have irregularities as well. Should go a little darker with my values so you can see what I do. Maybe like so, and like so. Up here, maybe right there, maybe there. You can place those rather randomly, almost randomly. The less you think about it, the more it's going to flow, and the more natural it's going to look. Okay, a little bit over here, and right here. Okay, and that's our mountains done. Let's take the smudging tool and pull those down into the plane below them. Just like that. Maybe something more needs to go on here. Okay. Next up is going to be some hills at the feet of the mountains. So I just draw in some lines coming down from those mountains, following their shape. Some bifurcations in there. Something going left, something going right. Okay. Now the top of those hills is going to be darker than the bottom. So we can create the illusion of mist in the valleys. Therefore, I just make those lines a little darker and give them a value just below them that I can later pull down with the smudging tool. Okay. This one as well. And this one right here. This one. This one right here. And the one over here. And here as well. Let's extend this one a little bit more, and this one as well. like so. Okay, and now I'm taking the smudging tool and just starting from the top of the hill, working my way down to the next hill, getting those very misty hills. And the last one down here. Pull it down, just like so. Okay. The next thing I want to do, I want to have a lake down here. So I'm going to have some water down there. Making horizontal lines from the edge of my frame toward the middle, leaving something blank. Gotta press down more though. Yeah. Now you can see it, right? Gotta sit down correctly. Okay. And from the right side as well. Just a lot of horizontal lines. Leaving some brighter areas and some darker areas, because the reflection on the water is irregular, depending on how uneven the surface of the water is, from all sorts of wind blowing across it. Maybe like this. And then I'll go in with a 3B pencil, making some areas even darker, especially at the back. Way behind there. And I left this blank area where the reflection of the sun is coming down. Okay, now I want some sort of shore on the other side of this lake. So this is going maybe like this over there, with some trees standing on it, which I'm indicating just with some M shapes. Okay. Now I'll erase the bit of water that I drew right here in the land. Like so. Now those trees are going to be touched by the sun from the top. And since the distance is not so far that there's a lot of mist, the lower part is going to be darker than the upper part. So first, using the HB pencil, I'm going to block in this value, getting lighter as I get towards the top of the trees. Could have left in this darker area from the water, but it's what it is. It doesn't matter. Now, with the 3B pencil, I make the lower area even darker. This bit of land that the trees stand on. And then I want to give the trees a value, or a volume rather. So the right parts are going to be darker than the left parts, and the lower parts, of course, are darker as well. So I'll indicate with some U shapes the lower parts of the trees, trying to make them irregular. They don't have to correspond with the U shapes above them. You don't have to mirror them, since the volume of the leaves, of the foliage of the trees at the bottom is not necessarily the way it looks at the top. Since the branches go in all sorts of directions, and at the bottom they often go in different directions than they go at the top. Now this lower part is very dark. It's in the shadow. Not a lot of sunlight coming through there, since the leaves are thirsty for the sunlight. They need it for the photosynthesis. So the trees have evolved to catch as much of the sunlight as possible. Nature is very efficient like that. So it's very dark down here. Very dark. Then I want some slight U shapes indicating the right parts of several trees. Poking out here and there. And there are going to be more of them on this entire left part of the forest. For the same reason we had darker areas in those clouds on the right side and on the left side. Some more over here. Going up there to the top of the tree. Roughly following those M shapes that I made before. And on the other side as well. But ever so slightly. Not too much. This side is touched by the sun. Okay, with the HB pencil I go in and extend the darker areas a little bit. And right here, the C shapes open to the right, just like regular Cs, following the shapes of the trees. Just like so. All right. Now let's have some tree trunks down there. With a 3B pencil, just some vertical lines. Just wherever. A lot of trees over there. So we don't really see which trunk goes up to which part of foliage. All the way over to the other side, and some more right here. It doesn't look dense enough to me, so I'll just add some more. Okay. Now there's still a light part in those trees. I want this to be a little darker, since it makes the forest look very thin, like there's only one row of trees. And you can see the light behind it, but I want it to look like there are many trees behind those trees. So it's very dark in there. Like this. Okay. Now we're going to have some more land coming in to this sea. Let me quickly lay this out. Maybe it comes down right here, right into the middle. Make that more visible for you, like this. And then the shore is right here. And then down there we have some more. Over here on the left side. So, the lower part of this is darker than the upper part. Just blocking that in and erasing the upper part so it can be as light as possible. Let's do it for this one as well. So we got it done for later. Okay. Now I'll continue to block this in. There are some more parts of the land poking out. Going down over there. Okay. Now let's have some bushes and a tree right here, because I still have to cover this area Otherwise it's going to look like there's nothing there. So this tree is going to be right here. Let me take the 3B pencil and just draw the right side of the tree trunk going up in the sky. And then indicate some bushes right up there. Maybe over here. And one right here. Okay. Before I draw in the bushes though, I'll give the land some more structure. Just the usual random lines with a 3B pencil. All sorts of uneven parts in the terrain. Okay. And now I erase the upper parts of the bushes so that they can be as light as possible. Down here. Okay. Now let's give the bushes a general shape with the HB pencil. On the right and the bottom side, they're going to be in the shadow. Maybe like so. And over here as well. And down there. Now let's make them darker with the 3B pencil. And over here, down there. And down here as well. And draw in a couple of leaves. Right here. Okay. Now for the tree. This time I want to try, instead of just giving it an outline as I normally do, since I think that looks rather cartoonish, I want to try and give the entire area just general value. Goes up to right here. So all this is going to be where the foliage is going to be. And I'll draw the light part of the foliage first and later add in the shadows. So now I'm going to just make some very zigzaggy lines with the HB pencil. Drawing in some areas. Drawing them in patches. Each patch is the foliage that corresponds to a certain branch. maybe like this, a little bit more over here, and of course down here as well, and down here. And now I'll go in with the 3B pencil, indicating the shadow areas. They're going to be mostly at the bottom right. So right here. Over there. Looks like I'm going to get a transparent tree. I haven't figured this method out. But we're here to learn. So it doesn't matter. Some darker areas in the middle as well. Maybe right there. A little bit over here. A darker patch over there. Maybe in here. Doesn't look like there's a lot of foliage on this tree. Maybe I can extend this. Make the darker parts a little bigger. Maybe that's more like it. Maybe. Maybe this gets me where I want to go. And I think it does. Makes the tree look a little fuller. Yes. I think I'm satisfied with that. Let's make this lower part even darker with the 7B pencil. Like this. And then let's draw in the trunk. And I screwed that up. Well, I'll have to erase this line. I thought the darker part of the tree is going to be on the left, but I have my sunlight coming from the left, so of course the right side of the tree is going to be darker. Just erase that. And with the 7B pencil, I'm going to make a very strong, very dark line down to the ground. Extend it with the 3B pencil to the left. And then add some structure to it. Looks like a very thick trunk for this small tree, but that's what it is now. Using the HB pencil, I'm adding some structure in the very light areas. Okay. Give it something to stand on. Let's have something going on right here at the very top. Okay. Now I want some more bushes on the left side. Bushes and some grass growing there. Using the 3B pencil, I make the lower part darker than the upper part. And the part to the left darker than the area that goes to the right into the frame. Let's make this a little more even with the smudging tool. Pull some of that graphite into this brighter area at the top. And extend this darker area that I made at the very right side, right in here, so it doesn't look too steep. More or less like this. And then let's have some parts of the terrain come in like this, making them darker. Like so. And then we're going to have our bushes growing let's see, growing up here and right in there. And maybe some more down here. Okay. Erasing those dark parts. At the top of the bushes at least, so they can be bright. The lower parts are going to be dark anyway. So let's go ahead and do that. The lower parts right there, rather dark. To the left parts of those bushes. The lower left areas are dark. The lower right areas, what am I saying? No wonder I get confused with my shadow and sun side. And down here also some darker parts at the bottom. And then make a transition into the lighter parts with the HB pencil. Just like that. And down here, now add some leaves some very small bumps in there, small M shapes. Okay. Now I want some grass to be seen down here. So I'll take the 3B pencil and do the usual, some vertical lines right next to each other. And since this is not very close, the lines aren't very tall. Maybe I can even just indicate this with some zigzag lines instead of carefully making individual lines. Just some zigzag for patches of grass growing right there. And right here in the background. Or more like in the back of the foreground. All the grassy areas. Right here at the top. It's going to be lighter, so I'll use the HB pencil. Okay, that's the ground done. Now I'll just have to finish the water. Using the 3B pencil, I'll make some very fine horizontal lines in the water, here and there, some right over there, going into the reflection. Over here. And right here in the front, we start to see some waves. So our lines have some waviness to them and some dynamic, being thicker and thinner. All right. And that's our little scene for today. Let's clean up the edges. Clean the eraser first. And shake the old camera. down here. Up in the sky. And the right side. Okay. No. Still some graphite there. Okay. Now, thank you for joining me again today. I hope you learned something. Hope you had a good time. Could relax a little bit. Maybe followed along or learned something for your drawing technique. Maybe it was just in the background for you as ASMR content. That's totally okay. Whatever you get out of it, I'm happy about that. So yeah, thanks for being here with me. I'll see you again tomorrow, and bye-bye.